Alright, so now it's time for what you've all been waiting for, the MyESAT essay formula. I'll go over step by step what you should do for each sentence and paragraph. And here's a secret. SAT readers are a little bit like Taylor Swift. They know exactly what they're looking for, and they are just waiting for the perfect essay to come sweep them off their feet. Let's start at the beginning, the prompt. You might think that there are more different types of prompts than there are vampire movies. However, that's not true. There are definitely more vampire movies. And although prompts may be different, all prompts are going to be very broad in general. Therefore, your practice is going to come in handy because you're going to be able to adapt all the practice and examples that you've prepared directly to your real prompt on test day. So yes, there are a lot of different prompts out there, and you don't know what you're going to get on test day. But you do know the examples and practice that you've prepared beforehand are definitely going to help you no matter what prompt you do get. So tell me the truth. What side of the prompt should you pick? Well, look, the truth is this. Graders don't care what side you pick. They don't care at all. There really is no secretly better side to pick. Don't pull a Luke Skywalker and waste time biting your nails threading between the two different sides. Instead, pick a side and commit to it. The first thing you want to do as soon as the proctor says go is read the prompt. As soon as you've read the prompt, stop. Don't jump into your essay right away. Restrain yourself. This is where a little cool planning is going to really go a long way. Take a calm and collected 2 to 3 minutes to brainstorm. You're going to be like James Bond here, thinking fast and sharp like a ninja, but staying cool as a cucumber. In these 2 to 3 minutes, you are going to 1. Pick a side, and 2. Come up with 2 to 3 examples to back up your side. This is your brainstorming time, so feel free to use your test booklet as your personal whiteboard. You can scribble, scratch, or draw your brainstorming ideas all over it. Nobody is going to see your test booklet, so please use it. Brainstorming is going to help you organize your essay as you start writing it. You now have a good idea what side you want to be on, and you also know which examples you're going to talk about. After you're done brainstorming, take a quick deep breath and stretch your writing hand because now you're going to get down and dirty. Okay, so let's take a look at this prompt. It reads, think carefully about the issue presented in the following excerpt and the assignment below. Something flawed is far more interesting than something perfect. Perfection is a trifle dull. It is not the least of life's ironies that this, which we have aimed at, is better not quite achieved. Now I'm going to give you a minute to brainstorm. Think about what position you would take on this prompt and what examples you might use. Time's up. So what did you come up with? Well, here's some sample brainstorming notes that I came up with. I want to take the stance that imperfections make life meaningful. I could have easily gone the other way and said that the pursuit of perfection is a worthy cause. However, it was easier for me to think of examples from this side. So that's why I chose this stance. For my examples, I chose the paintings of the artist Chuck Close, the book The Beach by Alex Garland, and Arabesque Design. So this is an example of what your brainstorming notes should always look like. Now, let's take a look at our formula for introductory paragraphs. The first thing you're going to write is your introduction paragraph. Who would have guessed? Here's the standard structure for an introduction. Your introduction paragraph should be 1 to 3 sentences long. There is no need to go longer than that. Please save your time and your ideas for your body paragraphs, not your introduction. The first sentence in your introduction is your opening statement. The opening statement is a sentence that kind of opens up your essay and broaches on the topic of the essay. I personally like to open up with a restatement of the prompt because that's something that's really easy to do really quickly. But you can also share a brief story or insert a relevant quote. It's completely up to you. But whatever you do, don't overthink this first sentence. The purpose is just to introduce the topic somehow. So think like Kirstie Alley in a Krispy Kreme. Don't think too much, just strike. Next comes your thesis sentence. This is the most important sentence in your entire essay because it sums up what you're going to be talking about for the rest of your essay. In fact, every single body paragraph is going to restate or tie back to this one sentence. So obviously this is a very important sentence. And it's the foundation of the entire essay. I'm going to go over a sample intro that I would have written. This is so you can get a good idea of how you would use this formula. Okay, so I wrote, perfection in life and art is an illusion, one that is often, but should not be, sought after. It is the imperfections that make life and art worth living for. We can see this principle illustrated in the paintings of Chuck Close, the book The Beach by Alex Garland, and Arabesque Design. Okay, so you can see how I followed the essay formula to the T. The first sentence where it says, perfection in life and art is an illusion, etc., etc. Well, that sentence is just me not thinking too much. I'm just quickly writing something that opens up the topic. The next two sentences are my thesis. So the rule is your thesis can be 1 or 2 sentences long, but never longer than that. Also, something to note about this introduction is that there's nothing fancy here. The introduction is really just something that's quick and dirty and gets the job done. Now it's time to move on to the good stuff. The body paragraphs. Each body paragraph should be 4 to 6 sentences long and should spotlight on one example and one example only. Do not fall into the temptation to describe 2 or more examples in one paragraph. This is important because we are following a standard conventional organization, remember? But what about being unique and developing your own personal writing style? Well, we're all for that and we think that's great. But the truth is, it's just not the safest play for the SAT. Why? Remember, readers only spend 3 minutes on your essay. That means they don't have time to fumble around scouting around for your examples. Instead, When you use a standard structure, you're making your essay super obvious. You are indeed red flagging all your examples and packaging it neatly on a silver platter so that even the groggiest English teacher can instantly locate your thesis and all your examples immediately. So back to the formula. The first sentence of your body paragraph is going to be the topic sentence. This sentence does exactly what you think it does. It summarizes the topic of the paragraph. Next, you want to tell the reader some facts about your example. Be as detailed as possible here. That means you want to cite authors, you want to cite names, places, events. Be specific and add detail. They love that. And you should do it all within a couple of sentences. The next 2 to 3 sentences are going to be your commentary. Your commentary is kind of like your take on the situation. So what are your thoughts or insights about the facts you just gave? You want to always make a point using your example and tie it back into the thesis, which is your main argument, right? You could think of it as using this commentary to restate your thesis and kind of show how this example supports your thesis. This is my sample first body paragraph. And I'll read it for you right now. It reads, Chuck Close, a photorealist painter, proves that beauty lies in the flaws of the human appearance. Close's enormous portraits are extremely precise and true to life. He pays close attention to the details of their wrinkles and scars, imbuing the portraits with a sense of character, emotion, and vitality, which would be lost in an idealized face. Unlike modern photography with its airbrushing, Close does not attempt to hide the flaws of his subjects by making them look younger. Instead, he celebrates their flaws, and by doing so, empowers his subjects and viewers alike to embrace their own flaws. By examining flaws on such a magnified level, we are able to find the beauty in imperfections. Kind of a mouthful, right? Well, I'm going to break it down for you. Let's take a closer look at this paragraph. The first sentence is the topic sentence. It reads, Chuck Close, a photorealist painter, proves that beauty lies in the flaws of the human appearance. Okay, so in this first topic sentence, I'm just broaching the subject. I'm just laying it out there. So now you know I'm going to spend the rest of the paragraph talking about Chuck Close and his work. Let's take a look at the next couple sentences. You can see that most of it is highlighted in yellow. All the parts highlighted in yellow represents the straight-up facts. So the facts are, Close's enormous portraits are extremely precise and true to life. That's just a fact. Also, he pays close attention to the details of their wrinkles and scars. That's also just a fact. Next comes the blue part. All portions highlighted in blue represents your commentary. So that means it's your take on the situation. Let's read it together now. Imbuing the portraits with a sense of character, emotion, and vitality which would be lost in an idealized face. Okay, so that's my opinion, right? I believe that Close's work imbues portraits with a sense of character. That's kind of like my take. It's not a fact. So now you can kind of see the difference between a fact and a commentary. The next part of the sentence is yellow again, which means it is straight up fact. Let's read it together. Unlike modern photography with its airbrushing, Close does not attempt to hide the flaws of his subjects by making them look younger. Okay, so that is just a straight up fact. You can see that this is something that Close just does not do. And now the remainder of the sentence is all commentary. It reads, Instead, he celebrates their flaws and by doing so empowers his subjects and viewers alike to embrace their own flaws. By examining flaws on such a magnified level, we are able to find the beauty in imperfections. Okay, great. So all of that was my own commentary. It was my take on the situation. And notice, I am definitely always careful to tie the example back to the thesis. My thesis says that it is the imperfections that make life and art worth living for. So again, in this paragraph, I kind of repeat my thesis by saying, yes, in Close's work, it is indeed in the flaws that we are able to find the beauty. Before we move on to the next paragraph, I want you to quickly note that the ratio of fact to commentary is roughly 1-to-1. Do you see that? You have roughly the same amount of yellow as you have blue. That is the golden ratio, and it's something you want to keep. So jot this down. The golden ratio of fact to commentary is 1-to-1. Also, jot this down. You always use your commentary to relate your example back to your thesis. And that brings us to our conclusion paragraph. Your conclusion paragraph is going to be super short. It's only 1 to 2 sentences. There's no need to make it any longer than that because you've already argued your point in your body paragraphs. Besides, you're probably just about out of time by now. The first sentence is where you're going to restate your thesis yet again. You want to repackage, respin, and reword your thesis, maybe present it in a different light. And then if you're really out of time, this might be the only sentence you have in your conclusion. But if you have an extra few seconds, why not wrap your essay in a pretty little bow before you send it off to the readers? This second part of the conclusion is called the Miss America statement. That's because this sentence is a feel-good and uplifting statement that kind of ties your essay in a pretty little bow. And why do you need this? Well, because this is the last sentence readers are going to read before they grade you, so why not send them off in a happy mood? Now let's take a look at my sample conclusion. In conclusion, though humans are constantly striving for perfection, it is the process of getting there that is more interesting. Beauty lies in the struggle, heartbreak, and sacrifice, not in idleness. Did you like the Miss America statement at the end? It kind of leaves you in a positive, uplifted mood, doesn't it? And that's the mood graders are going to be in as they grade your essay.